So, guys, open up the debate order and responsibilities. I am going to record this. I'm going to take you through this. Okay, this is just to remind you of how the debate is set up. Okay, and then we're also going to talk about, we're going to set up which group is going to go first and second and so forth. Okay, so we'll set that up today too. And then I would like to start them tomorrow. Okay.
Intersection, pick six, baby, let's go.
All right. So. Also, guys, hey, listen. When your classmates are debating, you are going to ask to be a judge. There'll be like 5 of you at a time will judge the debate.
Presidential style debate. What's that?
No.
Somebody else asked.
Wait, how do you do that?
That's where somebody else is asking questions and okay.
You don't answer the questions and you yell at each other.
Yeah. No, we are not going to do that. I will give you an F if that's what you do.
That's what the president did.
Yeah, I know.
I
I couldn't watch them. I could not watch the debates because all they did was yell. Okay. All right, guys. So I think this actually, well, hey, people, I need you to be quiet and listen, okay? All right, so first of all, guys, I set this up so you know what you're supposed to do for each debate or for each portion of it. You need to decide today who's going to be the first speaker and who's going to be the second speaker. And we'll talk about what we'll do in groups where you have a team of 3, okay? So, here's the order. We start the whole debate with the first affirmative speech, the first affirmative constructive speech. Remember, that's a speech where you're building your case. So the responsibilities of this very first speaker is to state the debate resolution. You need to do that in it. If you're the first speaker, you need to start your speech by saying, resolved. Pepsi is a more popular soft drink than Coke, or Pepsi is a better soft drink than Coke. My partner and I are here to debate, to support this argument that Pepsi is better. And then you provide 3 to 4 main points or arguments with your evidence. And it says always state the source of the evidence. So maybe your first argument is that when surveyed, more people choose Pepsi over Coke. We found the evidence of this survey in a 2015 survey taken by the Pepsi Corporation. It was published in this, okay, so you get the idea, all right? In this, 57% of the people surveyed preferred Pepsi, the taste of Pepsi over the taste of Coke. All right, and you tell us when and where the survey was from, okay? If you say Pepsi has a better combination of flavors, then, and you're quoting something, maybe you're quoting, here's how Pepsi is made up. These are the ingredients used to make Pepsi. Tell us where you got that information. Whatever it is, Pepsi, arguing this is getting difficult. Okay, so.
Pepsi didn't.
Yes, I was thinking that. Yes, Pepsi did not start off with a drug. Yeah, there was originally in Coke. There isn't anymore, but of course, but yeah, apparently originally it had some in it. Okay, so guys, do we understand that?
Yes.
The first speaker for the whole debate, the first affirmative speaker, and you need to figure out who that is. Boys, stop talking to each other and listen to me. You need to figure that out today. If you are the affirmative side, that means you are in favor of whatever the resolution is. Okay? So you've got to make sure that you decide, okay, you're speaking first. Here's my speech written out. All right? Then the first negative speaker will get up. His or her responsibilities are to make a case against the resolution using arguments that oppose the affirmative team's points and support them with evidence, again, stating the sources. So that first person would get up and say, my teammate and I are arguing against the resolution. We do not believe that this should be done, whatever it is, okay? And then you start listing your arguments. My first argument is this, whatever it is. And then you state the evidence that you have to support it. And then you go to the next argument, okay? Then we go to the second affirmative speech. You need to rebuild and extend the case, okay? Use the next set of arguments. Add new points, refute the negative side. You can start to say, okay, the negative team brought this up against us, but, and start to refute it. Use evidence to support. Then the second negative constructive speech, same thing. Continue to make a case against the affirmative, rebuild your negative arguments, refute the affirmative arguments, support with evidence. Now you notice there are times allowed here, okay? Each speaker in the constructive speeches are allowed to speak with 8 minutes. That doesn't mean you have to. You can speak for 1 minute or 2 minutes if you want to, or 5. You do not have to speak for 8, but that is the allotted time, okay? Then we get down into the rebuttals. This is what we talked about yesterday, all right? So the first negative rebuttal speech, because we go affirmative, negative, but then in the rebuttals, we go negative, affirmative, negative, affirmative. Here's why. The affirmative team has the burden of proof in a debate. Just like in a court case, the prosecution has the burden of proof, okay? So when you're talking about burden of proof, you're the ones that have the bigger job. All the negative team has to do is prove that you didn't prove your case, okay? Or refute your arguments. But you have to prove that this change is needed. So that's why the affirmative team gets to speak first and last, because they actually have the burden of proving their case, all right? So we start with the negative, the first negative rebuttal. It's your last chance to refute the affirmative arguments and rebuild the negative case and use evidence, because we're going to do something a little bit different in the second negative, okay? The first affirmative, same thing. Last chance to refute the negative arguments, rebuild the affirmative case, and use evidence. Because the second negative and the second affirmative in your rebuttal, your basic responsibilities are to summarize your side's points. Tell us why the negative side should win the debate. Don't provide any new evidence or arguments here. That's not what this is for. It's basically like the conclusion of your speech. That's what the last person for each team to speak, that's their job. Summarize the points. Tell us why your side should win the debate. Okay, same thing with the affirmative. Now, if you have a team, if your group has 5 people in it, or 6, do I have a team with 6? No, okay, just, okay, yeah, so you guys have 5. So whichever side has 5, whatever groups have 5, the side that has 3 people on it, because you're affirmative and negative, so you should have 2 on one and 3 on the other, okay? Here's what you should do. If it's the affirmative team that has 3 people on it, then you have one speaker do the first constructive, one speaker do the second, and then the third speaker should do the first rebuttal, okay? And then, so one of you will speak twice, the other 2 people on your team will only speak once. That's how we're going to do it, okay? If I had 3 and 3, I'd have each of you go twice, but we don't want it to go lopsided, okay? So 2 of you will speak once for your team if you're on a team of 3, and then 1 person will speak twice. Here's what I would also recommend. When it comes to dividing up the work for your team, or deciding who's going to go first and who's going to go second, if you are someone somebody on your team is better at planning out exactly what they're going to say, they should probably be your first speaker. If you have somebody on your team that is better at thinking on their feet, putting something together as they go, that person should speak second, because that's more of what they'll have to do, okay? Because you can prepare, but you also have to listen to what the other side is saying and kind of make plans as you go. Does that make sense? Because even though you can prepare arguments, you also need to pay attention to what the other team says and then act accordingly or speak accordingly. Okay? I know I went through that fast. I will have this up for you when we do the debate so you can think about, have a guide for how we're going to do this. Questions? Okay. All right, I'm going to stop recording in a minute. I would like to